Welcome to this video on finding the nth term of a quadratic sequence using the alternative method that some people prefer. I certainly do. Now, this uses the fact that we know a quadratic expression is of the form an squared plus bn plus c. Okay, and if you look at the previous video on this topic of quadratic sequences, you will see examples of formulae for the nth term in that form. Okay, so what we do here is we use a very clever little trick really, and that is that we number the sequence terms as follows. So I'll do the first one here. So the terms are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 because we're given the first 6 terms. Okay, so that is what we call n. Okay, the position in the sequence. I'll just put n here next to it, and we do what we did with linear sequences and we find what we call the zeroth term. In other words, the one that would exist just before that. I'll put that in inverted commas like that. Okay, now the zeroth term would in this case be a question of going back through the sequence. Now you might notice, you see, it's going down here in sevens. It's gone down by 7, then it's gone down by 5, then it's gone down by 3, so it would have to go next down by 1. Okay, and the zeroth term would therefore be the number 1. Okay, so that's not part of the sequence, but it's the number immediately before. Okay, and we need to bear that in mind. We go to this formula and we say that in this case, right, we can say that a times 0 squared, okay, so a times 0 squared, okay, I'll do this one in full, plus b times 0. In other words, I'm looking at the zeroth term when n is 0. That's why it's 0 here and 0 here. Plus c, whatever c is, we don't know yet, must equal the zeroth term. And the zeroth term is 1. Well, hopefully you can see straight away that the first 2 terms of this are 0. Because a times 0 squared is 0, b times 0 is 0, and c must equal 1. Okay, so I already know what c is in our general formula. Okay, so I make a note of that. And now I look at the first term, and I say in the first term n is 1. So a times 1 squared plus b times 1 plus c, which I now know to be 1, okay, equals the first term in the sequence, which is 2, okay, because that's the first term in the sequence. Remember, the 1 is the zeroth term. Okay, now from that I can say that basically 1a plus 1b plus 1 equals 2. So a plus b plus 1 equals 2, okay, a plus b plus 1 equals 2. Therefore, if we just take 1 from both sides, we have a plus b equals 1. Okay, so just make a note of that, and then we've got one more to do, which is that we look at the second term in the sequence, so when n is 2. So a times 2 squared plus b times 2 plus c, which we know to be 1, and that equals the second term in the sequence, which is 5. Okay, so we just have another equation now connecting a and b. Well, this time a times 2 squared is 4a, okay, and 2b, okay, plus the 1 equals 5, which means that 4a plus 2b will equal 4. Okay, and what I do now is I solve these two equations simultaneously. All right, so I'm going to call that first one equation 1. Okay, and the second one equation 2. So I'm just numbering those two equations there. Okay, we normally put a little line there like that. Okay, and I'm going to solve them simultaneously. And normally I do something to one of them so that the coefficients of b or a are identical. Well, if I just take equation 1 and times it by 2, okay, so 2 times equation 1, okay, will give me 2a plus 2b equals 2. Okay, and I'll call that one equation 3. Okay, a little bit confusing because I'm using a number there quite close, but that's where just numbering the equations. Now, I can now subtract these two equations from each other to eliminate b. So if I do equation 2, take away equation 3, okay, it will give me 2a. Yeah, 4a take away 2a is 2a. 2b take away 2b is 0. So it's 2b equals 2. Sorry, 2a equals 2. And therefore a must equal 1. Okay, now if I know that a equals 1, and I know that a plus b equals 1, then b must be 0. Okay, so I know that my general formula can now be written as, so I'll just highlight the three answers. So C is 1, A is 1, and B is 0. All right. Well, if I go to my original equation, A is 1. So the answer to the question is the nth term rule. Okay. The nth term is given by 1n squared. Okay, plus 0n, which is just 0, plus c, which is 1. And if you look at the previous video, you'll remember that we got that result using the table. Okay, so that's the answer for the first sequence. We'll do the second one. Now we know that's more complicated, but it's exactly the same procedure as we've done here. And I'll do this one in green. Okay, so first of all, what's the 0th term? Let's find out. So that's the 0th term there. That's the first, the second, the third, and so on. Okay, I don't need to do all of that. And then we can see that we've got, look, a difference. Let's go down. We've got 19 down to 6 is 13. Okay, then we've got 6 down to minus 3 is 9. Then we've got minus 3 down to minus 8 is 5 difference. So now we need a difference of 1. So we're going down to minus 9. Okay, can you see how that works? So we're just extending this pattern of differences. So the 0th term of this one is minus 9. So we end up with exactly the same sort of thing that we got up here. Okay, so this is going down here. So we've got a times, I'll start here, maybe here, a times 0 squared, okay, plus b times 0 plus c equals the 0th term, which is negative 9, and we can see straight away that c equals negative 9, okay? So I can already highlight that first answer. Now we go to the next line. Now we know that 1 squared is 1. So I'm going to speed this up a bit. And I'm just going to write a times 1 squared is a, plus b times 1 is b. Okay, plus c, which I now know to be minus 9. So in fact, I can go straight to writing minus 9 there, and that equals the first term, which is negative 8. Okay, if I add 9 to both sides, it gives me that a plus b equals 1, because if I add 9 to -8 I get 1. Okay, similar result to last time as it happened, but that is just coincidence. Okay, and that's equation 1. Now we're going to do a times 2, so we're looking at the second position now, the second term. Okay, so n is 2. Well, this is going to be a times 2 squared, which is 4a, okay, plus 2b, because it's b times 2, which is 2b, minus 9, and that gives us the second term, which is -3, okay. If we rearrange that, we get, well, 4a plus 2b, add 9 to both sides, 4a plus 2b equals 6. Okay, if we add 9 to -3, we get 6, and that's equation 2. Now you'll notice that this part here is exactly what we had here, and it will always be that. It will always be a plus b and 4a plus 2b. Okay, so we just need to deal with the in the same way. So we take equation 1 and double it, so we get 2 times equation 1, as we did last time. Okay, and that will give me, in fact, if I just move that that bit back a bit here, then I can put everything underneath. So 2 times equation 1 will give me 2a plus 2b equals 2. Okay, then I call that equation 3, and now I'm going to do my subtraction from 2 take away 3, exactly as I did before. Equation 2 take away equation 3. Well, that's going to simply give me 4a take away 2a is 2a, the 2b's disappear, 6 minus 2 is 4. So 2a equals 4, therefore a equals 2 this time, a equals 2. Okay, let me just tidy that up there. Okay, and highlight that answer. And if a is 2, I know that a plus b is 1, so that means that b must be -1. Okay, so it's easy to see what b is once you've got a. B equals -1. Okay, because 2 plus -1 gives me 1. All right, so all I've got to do now is go back to the general form, and for this one the nth term is going to be this rule here. Let's just write it down here. Nth term is, okay, nth term, and it's going to be an squared, so it's 2n squared. Okay, and then we've got b is -1, so it's -1n or -n, and c is -9. 2n squared minus n minus 9, and that is the nth term rule for the second sequence. Okay, there's no more time to do the third one, so I'll leave that one there for you to have a go at. Okay, we did it in the previous video, so you'll be able to go back to that to check your answer. Okay, thank you for watching and listening. I hope that was helpful. Take care.